Okay, so are you ready to dig into this whole AI food delivery thing? We've got that everyday AI video and like a ton of your research to unpack. Remember when like the only way to get takeout was to call a restaurant on an actual landline?
It really does feel like ancient history now that you mention
Yeah,
it.
right. But thinking about that shift from those clunky phone calls to like these super slick delivery apps we have now, it really shows how much AI is shaking things up.
It's not just change, though, is it? It's
Yeah.
like the video made a point about this. We've actually created a whole new economy centered around basically getting food from one place to another. And it's all powered by, algorithms.
And the crazy part is, like, most of us are totally clueless about the AI magic happening behind the scenes every time we use those apps.
It's kind of like there's this invisible stage manager, right?
Yeah.
Making sure everything runs
Yeah.
smoothly, optimizing your entire experience. Think about route optimization for a second. So AI is constantly analyzing like traffic patterns and even weather, construction too,
Yeah.
all in real time, just to find the fastest way to get that driver to you.
It's like having a super-powered GPS, right? Always adjusting on the fly. Oh, and remember how I was saying my pizza always seems to arrive lukewarm? Well, the video mentioned that AI can actually predict how long a restaurant will take to prepare your order. So the driver shows up right when the food is ready. Talk about a game changer.
And speaking of being efficient, it's wild how AI matches those drivers with orders too. Like it goes way beyond just assigning the closest driver.
Yeah.
They factor in where drivers are at that exact moment, even the average wait times at different restaurants.
So instead of drivers just like driving around wasting time,
Yeah.
they're being used way more efficiently, which I guess keeps everything moving.
Exactly. And the restaurants benefit too, reduced wait times and probably less food going to waste. Drivers can take more orders, obviously. And you, the hungry customer, end up with their food faster and at the right temperature. Everybody wins.
And it's not just about speed either, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the video touched on AI predicting what people are going to want to order. It's kind of freaky, almost like the app just knows you're going to be craving, like tacos or whatever.
It's all about data. AI looks at what you've ordered before, what time it is, even things like the weather to kind of anticipate what you're in the mood for.
So if everyone's suddenly craving comfort food, let's say it's a rainy Tuesday or something, the app's already ahead of the game, making sure there are enough drivers out there and restaurants are ready for that rush.
Exactly. Think about how powerful that is for a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what to expect means they can manage their inventory better, making sure they have the ingredients for the popular dishes, so less waste overall.
Okay, that's pretty smart. But get this, because the video dives into how AI is making your whole delivery experience, like, personalized.
Think about it. Every time you use a food delivery app, you're giving it information about like what you do and don't like. AI uses that to become your own personal food guru, suggesting dishes or places you might enjoy based on your own, unique taste.
It'd be like having a friend who just knows what you're craving,
Yeah.
sometimes even better than you do. You open the app, and bam, there's a list of recommendations just for you. No more endlessly scrolling through, like, thousands of options.
The video even suggested that AI could get good enough to predict food trends, before they become mainstream. Imagine that, trying that dish that's about to go viral before you even see it on your feed.
Okay, no way.
Eh.
We went from calling for pizza on a landline to AI predicting the next big culinary obsession. In like, what, 10 minutes?
And we're just getting started. The future of AI in food delivery is going to be even more wild. The video mentioned a few seriously futuristic things.
Right, because we're just diving into this whole thing. Stick around, because after the break, we're exploring the even more cutting-edge side of AI and food delivery.
Ready to level up on this whole AI food delivery thing? We're talking drones zipping through the air, self-driving cars, even robots, like rolling up with your takeout.
Okay, now that's what I call a futuristic feast. But before we totally lose ourselves in a world of pizza-delivering drones, something's been bugging me. The video touched on this a bit, but with all this AI shaping what we order, could it actually change how we eat in general?
Oh, for sure. That's a good question. On the one hand, AI could make us way more adventurous. Like imagine an algorithm that just gets your taste buds so well, it recommends something you'd never try on your own, but you end up loving it.
That'd be wild, like having this personal foodie guide in my pocket pushing me to try new things.
Exactly. But then there's the flip side. What if we get so hooked on those AI suggestions that we just fall into this rut, ordering the same stuff over and over because it's like the algorithm knows us a little too well.
Yeah, true. It's like when you're scrolling through those apps and you're stuck between like the Discover section and your usual go-tos. We all crave comfort food sometimes, but It wouldn't be much fun if we never branched out, right?
And it's not just about, like, our own choices either. What about what it could do to restaurants? Like,
Yeah.
if everyone's ordering the same AI-recommended dishes, what happens to variety? Will places lose their, like, unique flair and end up just blending together because of some algorithm?
That makes you wonder about those hidden gems, right? The ones that might not pop up on everyone's radar because they don't quite fit into what the AI thinks is popular.
Will they have to, like, change their menus just to appeal to the AI as much as they do to actual people? It's kind of wild when you think about it.
I've got to say, that part makes me a little uneasy.
Hmm.
I'm all for convenience and stuff, but I wouldn't want it to, like, stifle creativity or limit our options when it comes to food.
I get it. And that's a really important point to make. Like, with any powerful tech, we've got to be aware of the downsides, right? But instead of freaking out about the unknown, let's focus on how to shape this thing for the better.
So what can we do? How do we use AI to make food better, not just, like, control everything we eat?
It starts with being aware, honestly, recognizing that these algorithms are calling some of the shots. Don't be scared to break free from those AI-curated lists sometimes. Explore the menu. Try something you wouldn't normally order, even if the AI didn't suggest it.
Yeah. Take charge of your taste buds.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be like, hey, algorithm, I'm driving this food journey.
Totally. And leave feedback. If you order something and you're like, nah, not my thing, let the app know. The more info these systems have, the better they understand your real preferences, right? Which could lead to more, interesting recommendations down the road.
It's a good reminder that we're not just along for the ride. We can actually shape how this technology changes things.
100%. And hey, maybe by being more adventurous ourselves, we can teach those AI systems a thing or two about what it really means to, like, explore the world of food.
Okay, that is a delicious thought. But let's switch gears just a bit. We've been super positive about this whole thing. But what about the potential problems with AI and food delivery? The Everyday AI video mentioned something about the potential for bias. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. See, AI itself isn't biased, but the data used to train these algorithms, well, that can reflect some of the inequalities that already exist.
Okay, I'm with you so far. How does that play out when we're talking about, like, ordering dinner?
Imagine this. You've got a food delivery platform and its algorithm is laser focused on making deliveries crazy fast and cheap. Sounds good in theory, right?
Yeah, time is money, like they say. Makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Sure. But what if those goals, like, accidentally lead to problems? Think about neighborhoods that maybe don't have the best infrastructure. Maybe because of things that have happened in the past, deliveries there might take a bit longer on average.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
So if the algorithm is only thinking about speed and efficiency, it might start prioritizing deliveries to those easier to reach areas. That could mean delays or even fewer delivery options for places that are already at a disadvantage.
So even though it's not intentional, the algorithm ends up making those existing inequalities even worse.
You got it. That's why it's so important to be aware of those potential pitfalls, to design these AI systems in a way that's actually fair.
Makes total sense. We've talked about a lot here, from how convenient those AI recommendations can be to the whole debate about bias and needing more transparency.
And we're just scratching the surface. Coming up next, we'll dive even deeper into what steps we can take to make sure AI in food delivery is equitable and responsible for everyone.
So we've uncovered this potential for, like, bias in AI-powered food delivery. What can we actually do to make sure these systems are being designed fairly? It's not like we can just tell an algorithm, hey, be more equitable, right?
All right. You're right. It's definitely not that simple. But there are things that, developers and even policymakers can do. One of the most important, prioritizing diversity. And I mean, within the teams that are actually building and training these AI systems.
Yeah, that makes sense. Having people from different backgrounds involved right from the start with different experiences and perspectives, that could help catch those potential biases early on, the ones that might slip through the cracks otherwise.
Exactly. We need people who get the nuances of how these systems work. People who can, like, anticipate how those social and economic differences we see in the real world might impact things. It's not just about having, like, the tech skills. You need a variety of viewpoints, different ethical frameworks even, to make sure this stuff is being developed responsibly.
So it's about having those critical voices in the room, right? Challenging assumptions, making sure someone's advocating for fairness from day one. But what else can we do besides, like, pushing for more diversity in tech?
Transparency is huge. Users should be able to understand how these algorithms work, what data they're using, how that data might actually affect the services they get.
It's about giving people the information they need to make good choices. right? Like if I know a certain app or platform might not be so great at serving certain neighborhoods, I can choose to support a company that's actually trying to fix those problems.
Exactly. Transparency keeps everyone accountable. And when companies know that people are paying attention to these issues, they're a lot more likely to actually do something about them.
It sounds like we need to tackle this from all angles. If we want AI and food delivery to be more equitable, we need developers to build things responsibly, consumers who are aware, maybe even some regulations to keep things in check.
I totally agree. It's a shared responsibility for sure. We all have a role to play in how this AI stuff evolves, and that means making sure it's a future where everyone benefits, not just a select few.
This whole deep dive has been pretty amazing, honestly. We talked about how AI is totally changing how we order food, from making those late-night cravings easier to satisfy, to actually making us rethink our food choices and how those meals even get to us.
We covered a ton of ground, from those crazy specific AI recommendations to the complexities of algorithmic bias and the need for more transparency for sure. And really, we're just getting started.
AI is changing so fast, and it's
Yeah.
only going to get more central to our lives,
Mhm.
which means we need to stay informed, have these conversations, and fight for a future where technology serves everyone equally and ethically.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time for sure, and definitely a delicious one too. Understanding AI's role in all of this, more important than ever.
So true. Until next time, everyone, happy ordering. May your food always be hot, fresh, ethically sourced, and delivered right on time thanks to the power of AI.